A common use case for generative AI is an agent, a system you interact with in plain language to get some job done. Developing and deploying such an agent typically takes a lot of heavy lifting. However, this past week, Google announced the 1.0 release of its Agent Development Kit, a library for Python and Java to make it easy to create AI agents. These agents can have complex multi-step workflows, and you can even use multiple agents working together on a task in a single deployment. The ADK, as it's called, works with most any AI model, although it's easiest to use it out of the box with Google's models like Gemini. I've unpacked one of the provided examples for how to work with it, so let's see this example in action. This agent example is called the LLM Auditor. It's a fact-checking system. It takes in an assertion or statement and uses resources on the web to verify the validity of the statement. And when done, it reports back its findings in a structured way. This agent has two sub-agents, as they're called. One is the critic agent, and the other is the revisor agent. The critic uses prompting that makes the LLM take the role of a journalist, investigating the truth of a claim. The revisor takes the output from the critic and uses it to rewrite your original statement to be in conformance with its findings. These prompts can be tweaked as much as you like for fitness to a particular purpose. The examples that are provided are good starting points for building other agents that have similar workflows. You'll notice that the actual Python code for each agent is minimal. The toolkit handles things like setting up a UI, reading the user input, managing traffic to and from the LLM, and formatting the results. And the agents themselves are subclasses of a number of different kinds of agents that represent different workflows. In this one, we're using an agent called a sequential agent. And what this does is take workflow from one agent and just pipe it into another. So multiple agents can be chained together in this fashion. So let's fire up this agent and interact with it. When we go to the agent's web interface, we get by default a chat window and a sidebar with some introspection tools. These are useful if we want to debug the interactions between our end and the agent to make sure everything's flowing correctly. So let's type in an example of a statement of fact check. It's been disputed who originally invented the hamburger, as there are several possible candidates. The results are going to take several seconds to return, and the first part of the results are from the critic agent, who assesses the claim we've made. You'll notice we have cited sources for each justification, so we can check the LLM's work in detail. If I click the little icon next to the response, that brings up details about the event in question, which agent was working, what step in the workflow this is, and so on. This gives us some introspection into the process on our end, so again, if we're feeding inputs incorrectly between agents, we can debug that. Now, there's a lot of customization available for the workflow on both the local end and the remote end. For instance, the search tool used on the remote end is by default Google's own search. I could specify another search tool that's supported by the back end. For instance, if I trained my own LLM that uses its own internal custom search engine, I could pass signals back to that about which search system to use, also how to customize that behavior. So to sum up, the Agent Development Kit from Google provides fast ways to get running with LLM agents, whether you're going to deploy them locally, as I've done here, in your cloud, or on Google's own systems. The existing examples have some common workflows that you can retool, and the UI bundled with it lets you debug the interactions between your end and the LLM's end visually. And that's it for this episode. If you liked it, leave a comment below, and don't forget to follow Dev with Serdar and InfoWorld on Facebook, YouTube, and InfoWorld.com.